Well, Israel Apartheid Week was started at the University of Toronto, I'm sad to say, in 2005. It's sponsored by the Muslim Students Association all across North America. The Muslim Students Association has chapters on every campus worthy of note in North America.
And Palestinian Student Associations as well.
And other similar Muslim groups. The Muslim Students Association was founded by the Muslim Brotherhood, which is an organization that is condemned as a terrorist organization by many countries in the world. And IAW, whenever it is held, holds events that are profoundly anti-Semitic. I mean, the whole idea is based on the idea that in Israel, the Jews are special and everybody else is separated. And first of all, this is manifestly untrue. Israel is the only country in the Middle East that protects the rights of minorities, that provides opportunity for minorities. In all of the other surrounding Islamic countries, the Jews have been expelled, almost 1 million of them over the last 60 years or so. Christians are persecuted. Those states could be thought of as apartheid, but certainly not Israel.
Yeah. It's really a false analogy, and it should be made clear that that is so. The vilification of Israel, the demonization of Israel and therefore Jews is rampant on some of these events. They bring in speakers who tell really falsehoods, lies about Israel, and it is very upsetting to have it on campuses, especially, of course, to the Jewish students, and it really promotes anti-Semitism towards them. That's when you get the spitting events and a lot of the name calling and even shoving and acting out in other ways, swastikas on dorm doors and even pushing and acts of near violence. I can't say there's a lot of actual violence, but there's an awful lot of language violence and psychological violence.
This year at McMaster University during Israel Apartheid Week in March, there was a group from Israel that was here during that period.
Brought by Israel on campus.
Brought by Israel on campus.
Yeah.
They were here only to be a presence in the Student Center, to provide information, not to agitate, not to cause a fuss, but they were harassed unmercifully.
Can I just add that, I mean, they had 4 people, 2 Israelis,
right.
1 Israeli who was Arab, and 1 Arab. So that they were to show that it's not apartheid, that
apartheid.
That we
That's
work
right.
together, we live together.
And they were the one woman who was an Arab Israeli coming with the group was so distressed by the treatment she received, she burst into tears, she went away, and she was unable to come back.
To give the speech that night with the professor.
And so what you had was this aggressive, hostile, anti-Semitic behavior on the part of the IAW participants against a group of 4 Israelis who were peaceful.
Yeah.
On this subject, I want to get my quotation right. Just today, I read about the United Church, the Council of the United Church is putting forward a motion related to the illegal occupation of Palestinian territories. Illegal occupation of Palestinian territories. Now, in those 5 words, you've got 3 lies. There never were any Palestinian territories, ever, ever, ever. the only time in the last several thousand years that Palestine was in any sense independent was when it was annexed illegally by Jordan in 1947 and 1948 until the 1967 war. So there are no Palestinian territories. There is no occupation. Jews and Arabs, in fact, are free to purchase property in Palestine, as it's called. It's really Judea Samaria, to purchase property in that area and live there if they can cope with the terrorism on the part of the Arabs. So there is no occupation, and there's no illegality under international law. It's perfectly legal. So you're talking the United Church is speaking lies, and IAW is speaking lies.
Yes, I mean, IAW often brings up what they call, when they talk about the walls, the fences, the separate roads. None of that would be there except that Israel had to have defense against the terrorist acts that were being carried out. But that's never mentioned when these things are brought up at IAW.
Universities do not make any moral judgment about IAW. It's not a question of free speech, once again. They simply refuse to say anything about this abusive behavior by a group of students on campus. And so, there's some evidence that over the last 2 or 3 years, IAW is beginning to fizzle a little bit. But I mean, this year it was still very much on campus at McMaster. There are other campuses, which I won't name, but notorious campuses in the Toronto area, at which IAW is an event that demonizes Jews and makes them feel extremely uncomfortable. But basically, and the Jewish groups on campus, generally speaking, certainly at McMaster, and I believe at many other Canadian universities, the Jewish groups on campus are not taking effective strategies to deal with IAW. They are too passive.
I agree, that's true, but it really shouldn't have to be up to the students to fight the battle, to challenge the truth of the statements. I think they do need to get tools to keep from being overwhelmed with intimidation and with lies, and to counter as best they can. But again, I think it really falls to the administration of the universities, the chancellors even, to take a stand to make it safe for all students, including Jewish students.
And they fail to do this.
Yeah, and to enforce the rules of conduct that are there for students, to require professors, some of whom our own do participate in IAW, support IAW activities. These need to be held to account, to teach in an academically correct manner, not to teach ideology.
Please share this video, and on YouTube, click the button below to become a subscriber. In consideration of Canada's 150th birthday, please consider 150 ways to bless Israel through your Christian embassy, the ICEJ Canada. Consider becoming a $150 monthly donor. Plant 150 trees, 150 prayers for Israel. The opportunities are endless. Please contact us.